Hi, I'm William Stewart. Welcome back to our verse by verse study on the book of Revelation. We're starting the last chapter, and today we end the description of the marvelous New Jerusalem and eternity. And marvelous it is. Today is especially important because it really contrasts with the Garden of Eden, where God originally set up a perfect sinless world and cohabitation, or a close relationship with Adam and Eve that was disturbed by sin. So let's get to the text, Revelation 22:1 in the King James. And he showed me a pure river of water of life. So pure, contrasting to the world before the new heaven and new earth, and this being without sin, and a world that also is pure without being polluted with injurious a bacteria that could cause disease or perhaps toxins. So water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of Lamb. Now there was a river running through the Garden of Eden, and perhaps this river mirrors that. It proceeds out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. So God and the Lamb, being Christ, are on the throne. In the midst of the street of it, so there's a street close to this throne, and on either side of the river there was a tree of life. So remember, the tree of life was also in the Garden of Eden, and after the fall, Adam and Eve were taken away from it, away from the garden, away from the tree of life, and they died, as did everybody else from that time in their life up until the time of the rapture, of course, which will be in the future. Which bare 12 fruits, yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were of the healing of nations. So again, here is provision to the Jews, to the people, especially then. There would be no more hunger. It seems to be that health as well. Maybe there's a spiritual dimension here in terms of healing, and we aren't quite sure all the ramifications of this, but obviously it's very positive to the well-being and health of the people within eternity. And there shall be no more curse, otherwise no more sin, and no more punishment for sin. There will not be sin. But the throne of the God and the Lamb shall be on it, and the servants shall serve him. So we will be with God and Christ. His servants, again, who are these? Are they angels? Are they the other beings in heaven? Or is it all Christians or the saints from all time, or all of them? Revelation 22:4. And they shall see his face. This is probably the face of God in contrast to all the times that God is called invisible. And now we can finally see him because we're sinless, and we can tolerate his glory, which man could not do when they were fallen. So again, this might be controversial. Perhaps it's talking about Christ, but Christ has been seen. So I think the emphasis in context here is to change after the tribulation, and after the change of the earth, the new heaven and new earth. And so I think it's talking about God. Again, you look at it, you may disagree. And his name shall be on their foreheads, otherwise contrasting to Satan and the mark of the beast. We know that Christians or saints in the tribulation had a mark. Here we'll have a mark on our foreheads, and I think it indicates ownership, that we are his possession, as it talks about in 2 Peter 2:9, and we are his possession for eternity, security. Verse 5, and there shall be no light there will be no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord God giveth light, and they shall reign forever and ever. So light here, I think, is important. Bad things happen at night typically. For those, especially before the time of electricity, there was insecurity at night, because that's when thieves often own the night. And here there's always day, there's always truth, there's always transparency. I think, again, this indicates security. Again, it states that the saints will reign with him, as it does in other places, several other places, such as in Revelation 2:25, that Christians will have authority over the nations. So, yes, we have that privilege, and God will have things for us to do and for which that we care in heaven. And these things aren't described. So what do we learn today? That basically God in eternity sets up perhaps a Garden of Eden 2 that is reminiscent of the Garden of Eden, otherwise a perfect, sinless place where people are fed, they're secure, with good well-being. And God and Christ are there. There is no sin, and people are secure. Thanks be to God. What a wonderful description. Thanks be to God who has given us and promised such a great salvation, and he keeps his promises. Okay, we begin to wrap up this great book of Revelation next time. Thank you for being here today, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.